The choice of outdoor gear available to us nowadays is absolutely amazing. There is a gadget to solve every problem, and high-tech materials and design mean that everything is super lightweight to carry. Or does it? Despite the modern materials and the super lightweight gear, the actual packs on our back don't really seem to be getting any smaller. Nessmuck said, "We go to the woods not to rough it, but to smooth it." Nessmuck was also known for the minimal gear that he carried and the distances he could cover at speed and in relative comfort. Those of you who follow the channel quite a lot may have noticed a slight trend in the last few videos. We're actually starting to look at lighter weight gear, and everything from our top tarp tips, which suggested replacing paracord on your toggle set with the very thin builder's line that reduces the overall weight and compact size drastically, through to our one pot meals. With a bit of planning, you can create superb fresh cooked meals using just one pot, and again this contributes to less gear on your back. My last video, the Super Wooby project, that takes a piece of gear which becomes multi-purpose, so it means you have to actually carry less items. This one item will do several different things, which again reduces the weight on our back. This video is not a how-to video. This video is perhaps something that will cause food for thought, something new for you to think about, and perhaps help you lose a few pounds from your pack. To start shedding the pounds from your pack, you're going to need three things. First thing, set of scales, weigh everything, find out what weighs more and what weighs less. That will help you decide. Your second thing, well, that's a couple of things in actual fact. The first thing you're going to need to do is forget duplication. Choose your gear well. That way you don't have to carry two or three. Several times I've been out and I'll see people carrying a head torch, and they also have a backup torch, or they'll have a knife and a backup knife, stove and a backup stove. You don't need it. Forget duplication. Also, forget the brands. Yep, we see guys advertising them and using them on YouTube and on the TV. Forget those. Find the ones that work for you, and importantly, find the ones that weigh less. The third thing you're going to need, well, that's the mindset of an old school outdoorsman. Back then, they chose gear in a very different way. Firstly, they decided, do I actually need this piece of gear, or can I plan around it? Can I work around it? Can I learn a skill that means I don't have to carry that item? If they decided they did actually need it and that they couldn't work around it, then they'd probably have a go at making it, and they'd look at either making from scratch or perhaps taking something that they already had and repurposing it. Repurposing has become quite fashionable nowadays, but back in the day, that was how people came up with an awful lot of their outdoor gear, by repurposing it or making it themselves. If they couldn't make it themselves and they couldn't do without it, then their last option was to actually go out and buy it, and money was thin on the ground for those guys, and so choosing to purchase something was quite a major decision, and they chose very, very carefully. They researched exactly what they want, they got the best they could actually afford, and then they continued to use it until it was no longer usable. They would maintain it, look after it, make sure they didn't lose it, and hopefully it would last them a lifetime. In doing that, one, it saved them money, number two, meant they didn't carry as much, and number three, from a modern perspective, it's better for the planet. There's only so much landfill out there, and if we keep continually buying gear and replacing it, all that stuff is going to go somewhere. So choose well the first time, make your choice, buy that item, and then use it, look after it until it is no longer usable. As I said, a set of scales will help you make an informed choice about what gear you can carry on your back. I've got a few examples and we'll quickly run through those, and you can see the sort of comparisons and the potential weight losses that you can find. This is my PLCE longback Bergen that I made a little project of, and a lot of people say, oh, why don't you use your LK35? Well, the LK35 is very good, very versatile piece of kit, and I do like to use it. However, it weighs in at nearly 2.5 kilos, just the rucksack. This one comes in at about 1,900 kilos, so it's saving me 600 grams. Plus, this will also expand. It allows me to carry a lot more, or it makes packing a whole lot easier. With the LK35, if I'm out for several days and I'm loading stuff in, it takes really careful packing. Obviously, when I'm out in the woods, particularly in this temperate climate that I live in, the rain can have quite an impact on my training, and so I would carry a set of waterproofs. Now, a set of Gore-Tex waterproofing trousers, the standard British Army issue type that compacts fairly small, that weighs 1,390 odd grams, so nearly 1,400 grams. Now, one of these, a lightweight poncho, comes in at just over 300 grams, so that's a quarter of the weight saved. If you add to the fact that this also covers my rucksack while I'm out, I have no need to carry a Bergen cover as well. So the potential weight saving for this is over 1 kilo just on my waterproof suit. Obviously, also while we're out in the woods, we also need something to cook in, and the most popular choice for bushcrafters, because it's the one that you see the guy on the telly use, is the zebra billy can. Now, a 12cm zebra billy can comes in at 550 grams with the little stainless steel insert. One of these, which a friend gave me back in about 2001, and all it is, it was I think a Tesco's finest cookie tin, and all he did was drill a little hole in the top, and he put a little wooden knob on, but I've changed that to a little split ring with a pop rivet. I've put a few drain holes in around the top and a little wire bale handle, and this has cooked more meals and made more brews than virtually any other utensil I think I've ever owned. Absolutely brilliant bit of kit, and it comes in at 257 grams, so this is half the weight of a zebra billy can. It will actually hold slightly more liquid as well. It's lasted a long time, 17 odd years, and in that time it's performed absolutely flawlessly. It's made from pressed stainless steel. I never have to worry about it rusting. It cleans up nice after every usage, and anyone can do it. It's that simple. On the subject of cooking, well, cooking and getting a brew on, making a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, a subject fairly dear to my heart. And I think what most people tend to use is one of these British Army water bottle with a stainless mug, and really good bit of kit. They come in at, I think the complete set is about 450-460 grams, okay, for one of those. The US Army version comes in 200 grams lighter. Still stainless steel, Similar capacity cup, it's not quite as big, it doesn't have the measuring scale on the inside, but again, I've used this for making countless brews. It's lighter in weight, it's just as versatile, and it's a few less ounces you've got to carry on your back. Obviously, while I'm out, quite often I'm out after dark, and most people nowadays carry a head torch of some description, and a standard head torch uses 3 AAA batteries, and they come in about, on average, about 120, 130 grams. Now, this is a little P3 torch from LED Lenser. Runs on 1 AAA battery. It's got a focusable beam, plenty bright for what I need. It's very, very robust, and I've got a little webbing strap, and on that webbing strap there's a loop. There's also a little pocket for a spare battery, and all of that comes in at 60 grams. Okay, so again, it halves the weight, just going for something simple. And this I carry in my belt daily anyway, so it's a weight that I barely even notice carrying. Cutting tools is always a big point of debate in the bushcraft community, and particularly knives and axes. The most popular axe for bushcrafters is the Gransfell's Brook small forest axe, and very, very popular, fairly versatile, a little bit short and light for felling, but it's okay for splitting. Can be sort of used for craft purposes. It's not too big. I find it a little bit clumsy for it, and they come in at just over a kilo. One of these, which is what I normally carry, is my little Norland hatchet. This comes in at 600 grams. I can still use it for splitting. I can use it for hammering tent pegs in. I can use this for splitting wood if I need to split wood to make kindling, for getting my fire going. And I've saved over 400 grams just by carrying a slightly smaller axe. Obviously with this one, because it's slightly smaller, it's quite nice and easy to control for when I'm doing craft projects. So axes, really good choice to switch down, something slightly smaller. This is a full tang, 4mm thick bushcraft style knife, the fairly standard bushcraft knife. This particular one comes in at over 304 grams, I think it is. Quite a heavy duty, really good, versatile piece of kit. Obviously the full tang means I can split wood with it, and it's a good, robust piece of kit. If I wanted to go for something slightly lighter, well, I'd probably go for a little Puko. And this one is a little custom made one that a friend made up for me, and it's got a birch bark sheath. And this one comes in at about 130 grams, so a big saving over the 4mm bushcraft knife. This is a Mora Classic #1. This one comes in with its little birch bark sheath at 107 grams, so a third of the weight of our 4mm bushcraft knife. This is just as versatile. Could still use it for splitting wood. I have to take a little bit more care, but hey, it works, and it works well. But perhaps if I wanted to go even lighter again, well, a little Opinel knife. This is one of their little garden knives. Stainless steel blade, traditional handle, twist lock blade, so it's quite nice and secure. This comes in at about 60 grams. Weighs absolutely nothing at all. I can still cut with it. I can make feather sticks with it, and I know, well, I can't batten with it, but then why would I need to? I normally carry a hatchet, and that will do all the splitting that I need. My knife is there primarily for preparing food, cutting cordage, perhaps doing a little bit of whittling or wood carving, and that will do it. The only thing with the Open L is technically it's a locking knife, so I can't carry it with me at all times. But one of these, this is the Bushcraft store Boar folding knife. It's a slip joint folder. It's got a cutting edge of less than 3 inches, and it's a non-locking blade. It's got a Scandi grind on it, stainless steel blade, a nice curly birch handle. Feels quite good in the hand, and I can do everything with this apart from splitting wood. But as I said, I don't have to because I'm carrying a little hatchet. Because it's non-locking and because of the blade length, means I can carry it with me all the time. And this is one of the usual knives that's found on my belt pretty much every single day. One last item. This is my Wooby. Now, the Wooby, for those of you who don't know, who didn't see the last video, it's a US Army Poncho Liner, and this one has been converted so that it can do all sorts of other things. It becomes my under blanket. It can be a cocoon system to go around the outside of my sleeping bag. It can become a sleeping bag liner if it needs to. It also replaces my warm kit because I can pull this over the top of me, keeps me nice and warm, and it saves me having to carry a fleece jacket. Now, my regular fleece that I would use, it's relatively lightweight, comes in just under 600 grams. This at 900 grams is heavier, but it means I can leave the fleece at home. So I've just saved 600 grams. So those are a few ideas of ways that you can save weight without having to leave too much behind. I'm carrying the same gear that I would always carry, it's just I've made slightly lighter choices. By making those choices, it means I'm carrying less on my back, which means I can travel further, faster, and in more comfort. As I said at the beginning, weigh stuff for yourself, try stuff out. Don't just go with the usual brands that everyone else uses. Go out there, look and see what else there is available. If you can, have a go at making your own. Make up your own little cooking pot. Have a go at the Wooby project. All of these things will save you weight on your back. So there you have it, a few tips that could save you a few pounds. In future videos, I'll also look at other weight saving ideas. It might be cook systems or sleep systems, but all stuff that will help you travel a little lighter and a little more comfortably. Even if you just follow the tips from this video, well, that would have saved you near enough 3 kilos, so £6, just by looking at those few items. That could save you quite a considerable amount of weight. I'm not aiming to make everybody a through hiker, an ultra lightweight, but just to carry a little bit less on our backs, and maybe choose our gear a little more carefully so it lasts that a little bit longer. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button. Ideally share it. If there's other people out there who you think would benefit from any of this, then please share the video. And as always, if you haven't already, then subscribe to the channel. I'm Neil, and until next time, stay safe.